Okay, sir. Good after. I guess it's good evening for you.
Yes, sir. It's
We're
good evening.
we're live here with Meet the Masters. I'm Tim Watson, and I'm joined today by Master James Faure. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. And you?
I'm great. I'm good. I'm waking up. I've got my mass martial arts coffee mug from Master Miguel Soto in San Diego. So I'm good. How are things in Seychelles?
It's good, sir. I've done work. Now we home, chilling, and now doing the interview.
How are classes going as far
um,
as
uh, Now we stop training. We're waiting until we get permission from the health authority again, so we can start training. So for now, we're just training at home.
gotcha? Are you doing that? Are you doing any Zoom classes?
Not yet, sir. We haven't started.
Gotcha. Um, so how do you continue to keep your students motivated with it's a hard thing with everything going on. How have you found that happening?
Yes, sir. We've been doing classes on Zoom, but and then for Christmas we break out, and then we were supposed to be resuming class in January, and then we had this coronavirus. We kind of stopped for a while now, so we'll see when we get the permission so we can start going. If it's taking too long, then we're going back to Zoom.
Right. How do you feel doing Zoom? It's definitely for me it really tests my teaching skills and my multitasking, like looking at all of these boxes and making sure people are paying attention.
Yes, sir, it's a challenge. And then I noticed that you have to do things slowly because if you do it too fast, then they don't get it. So it's kind of slowing you down, and then for them to get the technique. And then you get the chance to watch, like almost everybody, like you say, when you go, you watch on the little square, you see this one making a mistake. It's like a mirror. So I think it's something positive that we're getting out of this.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's better than completely shutting down and not keeping students engaged. Even even with those classes, it's hard to keep students engaged. Like we closed down originally in March of last year, and we actually have about 20 students that still only do Zoom, which is tough. But I applaud them for their dedication to continue to train. So
Yes, here also, sir, because sometimes when you log in, you don't get the connection, or when you say where you staying, they got poor connection, so they cannot join. Like you said, it's a bit tough for them to join. So we sometimes we got four, sometimes we got three, sometimes we got like 6, 8. It all depends.
right. Um, we got lots of people, well, a number of people saying hello. Lindsay from Great Britain says hello. It's freezing there. We'll talk about where we're from in a moment. Your wife says good morning, good evening from Seychelles. Logged in and ready to throw my support to Master James.
Thank you.
Marino says Kung Su from Greece. So
Thanks you.
uh, so tell us, for anyone out there not that isn't familiar with where you're from, tell us a little bit about Seychelles.
Okay, we living on an island, Mahe. It's one of the bigger one in the group. Altogether, we have 115. We in the middle of the Indian Ocean, and Mahe is the one where we have most people living on. And then we got Prale and Ladig with smaller groups of people.
Gotcha. And have you lived there your whole life?
Yes, sir. I've been living on Mahe for my whole life, but I grew up on the south side of the island. I grew up with my grandmother. I come from a family of five, three brothers, one sister. My mother was a single parent. She had to start working early and still young. So, things was tough back then. And she had to help to put food and the things we need on the table. So she had to start working a bit young. So as the older one in the family, and I felt like it's it's like you know, you take your childhood away from you because you have to wake up early in the morning, do most of the chores, take care of your little sibling, and stuff like that. So
But I appreciate that kind of work ethic. Like
yes, sir.
not everyone would, take on that responsibility, but it's one of those where it sounds like you knew that your mom needed the support, so that's amazing.
Exactly. So we just have to love her for what she did.
Yeah.
It was tough because probably she wanted to do other stuff also, but being there to support and provide really means a lot.
One of the things when I talked to Master Mike Allen, he said, and I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think he said that Marinos told him about the beautiful island that you live on, uh, and so he had to finally go there. What's the weather like usually? You said it's basically sunny and beautiful.
Yes, we got the sun like throughout the year, and the weather's warm. And to tell you the truth, when I go to Europe, it's really cold for me.
Yeah, it's funny. I told some of my friends that I was doing the interview with you, and they started looking up. It's like, oh, we need to go there. It's like,
Yes,
yes,
they have to come, but they have to teach also.
that's fine. We like, I can do that. We've like I told you, we visited Aruba before and got a chance to teach for Master Noguera there, and I'm happy to bring my dobak when I travel.
Exactly, exactly. You don't know what you're going to bump into.
So you mentioned earlier about your some of your early life. Talk to us about how you got started in the martial arts. I read some information on you that you got started pretty early.
Yes, sir. I used to love karate since I was young, and while growing up, I like to watch karate movie like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Van Damme. So these people kind of inspire me. And then it was one evening, I was on the beach at Naslamush. I saw one of the guys doing some awesome moves, some jumping kicks, swimming the bong. So I sit there and watch. And then when he kind of taking a break, so I approach him and talk to him. His name was Nadi Banan, and he was a red belt back then. And he talked to me about Tang Sudo, what it's all about, where do they train, and he invited me to come and watch the first class on a Monday. So I went there and I started since then and never stopped.
And how old were you then?
I was 13 years old. It was in 1993.
Okay, so I'm. It sounds like you and I are the same age. I just turned 40 into 2020, so
Yes, sir.
uh, that's awesome. I wish I had a cool story like that, like seeing somebody on the beach, and that's how I got my start in Tung Sido.
Yes, because back then, you know, it was the American who bring Tong Sudo on the island. They had their tracking station here. They were working, American soldiers. They were the only one who were practicing Tong Sudo. And then there was a point where they introduced it and let the local join. It was back then that some of the local joined. I managed to train with them also for a little while, but not that long before they closed the base here.
So how long, how how far back did that go? Was that around the same time as you started, those guys at the base?
Yes, yes, it was about the same time because when I joined, Steve Layton was still here, so he was the one in charge of Tontudo. But before him, there was another gentleman named Canesti. He was the one who came with this, and then Layton continued when he left.
Now, were these guys part of the World Tong Sudo Association?
Yes, they were part of the World Tong Sudo Association. When I think when Canesti started this on the island, he was a red belt, but when he introduced it to the local public, to the locals, he was a black belt first dan degree in Tong Sudo.
Gotcha. So when you got started, who was your original instructor?
He was Steve Layton.
Oh, okay. And then once he left,
And then when he left, there was a few black belts. I remember there was Mr. David Faure, Ado Elika, and Rodney Ahmad, a few of them. So they were there. They continue.
how was training back then when you started? Was it hard?
In the beginning, in the beginning when I joined, it was really hard because while growing up, I used to grow where nobody tell me what to do, no rules, no regulation. And then for me to join the class and they start giving the rules, the regulation and everything. But that was not the purpose I wanted to join Tong Sudo. I wanted to join Tong Sudo because I want to learn more how to fight because I was a fighter.
You had that big brother complex. You wanted to tell everyone else what to do. You did it at home.
Yes. That when you go there with the rules and the regulation and the fight codes, it really start changing slowly, but we get there.
Yeah, I like that whole thought where you go thinking that you need one thing, but then you get there and realize that it's there to
It's
teach
not the same way, yeah.
something else, like discipline and paying attention
Yes.
and respecting your elders and all that stuff. That's great.
Yes, and the American guy was really, really strict. So, from the army, all this, and with the tongues to do principle and codes, I was young going there and thinking that is fun, and then everything gets serious. But I really love tongues to do, so I keep my best and keep my cool and my calm and keep on going.
So you said you started because you wanted to learn how to fight. Is that are you still
Yes, sir.
fighting? You still enjoy sparring and
Yes, sir. I love sparring. Sparring is like the number one for me. But in Tang Soo Do, since there is the other things also that you need to learn, so we have to balance things out. But sparring is one of the things that I love the most.
I'm right there with you. It's definitely one of the hardest parts about the whole COVID-19 thing. We usually have an A day and a B day. We have a forums night and a sparring night, and our sparring nights are gone right now. So I'm wishing for days, where we can spar on a regular basis. So I'm right there with you.
Yes, sir. I'm waiting also to start sparring again.
Can't spar on Zoom. A couple people are saying hi. Stephen Koya says greetings from New Jersey. Tatiana Klein says greeting from the Netherlands. And we have Pedro Eugenie says Tung Su from Seychelles.
Thanks so.
Yes. So what inspires, or I guess what pushes you to continue training throughout the years? You said you started in 1993, and here we are in 2021, almost, believe it or not, 30 years later. What kept you going in those teen years, and then as you got older, as far as training goes?
Yes, I think when I started training, and I was a bit bitter before because the way things were. I was always getting into trouble. Nobody believes in me. So when I joined Tang Sudo, it's like a new beginning. People start guiding you, tell you what to do. If you do something wrong, there's a consequence. If you want people to respect you, you have to respect them. So these kind of the things that kind of inspire me and keep us going. So back then when I started, I was a rebel, and Tang Soo Do changed my life completely. So I wanted to give back a little bit what I got from Tang Soo Do to the other kids that's growing up. So if we manage to change a few of them while they are growing up, that will be awesome for us.
That's great, and I'm sure most instructors kind of have this same thing. Maybe with you is a little more because, like you said, growing up, you didn't necessarily have that person to push you in the right direction until you found Tung Sudo. So I'm the same way where if I have the opportunity to let someone or give someone direction through the martial arts, even if they train for a year and leave, you know, I know that I've managed to help them out in some way. So
Yes, you contribute a little bit in their lives.
so growing up through the ranks, was there always a studio in Seychelles, or were there times where you had to train on your own, or who?
Yeah, when we started, we started, it was the Seychelles Tang Sudo, and then in 2004 we started because I changed where the places where I lived before. I started living in the north side of the island, and it was a bit difficult for us to get to training because we have to go all the way into the south. So we trying to ask permission for us to open another school in the north side of the island. That was in 2004. But the previous masters didn't like this idea of opening another school on the another part of the island. So we had a kind of discussion all this time, and we got Master Goal, who supported us with the idea of expanding Tang Sudo on the island, because there's space to expand. So we trying to put this in front of the master before, but it was not his idea. So we have to keep on fighting, keep on asking until in 2006 when we finally get permission to start.
That's awesome. How far apart would a studio like that be, like from one side of the island to the other?
Sorry, sir?
How far apart would the studios have been?
Yeah, it can be like 15 kilometers.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, it can be like 10-15 kilometers apart.
I got you. And so,
But when we open the school, we open it still under the umbrella of the Seychelles Tang Sudo. It's like a branch
I got
club
you.
underneath. Yeah.
Got you. We're still having some people. I guess people are starting to wake up here. Master McCarty from Alabama is saying good morning. He was like Grandmaster Bowden was longtime students. Master Sharp from Texas says hello. Oh man, I hope I get this name right. Lebo Gang says greetings from Botswana.
Okay, the bongo.
And Michael Lee says warm hugs from Mozambique. So you've got your brothers and sisters from your
watching.
What region is it again?
Region 14, sir.
Region 14.
Yes.
So we talked a little bit about this before we came on. Region 14 is a pretty, I mean, when you think of regions, it's a massive area. So it's hard to get together and train. But with Facebook and I guess, I don't know, with Zoom, are you guys able to get together anymore to do Zoom trainings, or how does that work with region?
No, sir, we haven't done one, but maybe with time now we will be maybe going on this line to have a class online together. Gotcha. Only region 14.
Coming up through the ranks, did you have, as far as going to events and doing tournaments, was that something that you were interested in?
Yes, I've been in a lot of competition, like in Seychelles. We got to compete in the national championship, which is it goes under the rules and regulation of the World WKF, World Karate Federation.
Okay.
And then we got our style Tang Sudo. So we got the Korean and the Japanese. So if you want to, we have a small island, and if you want to keep on surviving and people need to know you, you have to go and compete in this competition also. So we compete in both the Tang Sudo and WKF also. And then I went to a few international competition also, sir.
You got a chance to, even early, to do some world championships. How were those events for you back? So I think you said
yes. I went to the first World Tang Sudo Championship in 1998, and it was like an amazing feeling. Never seen lots of people together competing different rings at the same time. It was an amazing experience. Yeah.
Were you a black belt at that point?
No, sir. Still color belts.
Gotcha.
Never went when I was a black belt.
Would that be,
unfortunately?
Would that have been something where you went with a team, or did you just go by yourself, or did you have other students that were competing from Seychelles?
Yes, we went with the Seychelles Tang Sudo back then, and then in 2018 we went as the Northern Tang Sudo.
That's awesome. How many students did you have then in 2018?
To the world when we went, I think it was 15 of us.
Wow.
Yes.
It's one of those, and I remember the first time as an instructor, I got to take my students to world championships. How was that feeling of being able to go and say that, your students were representing yourself and Northern Tongue Sudo?
I was proud to take them because this is the highest event that Tang Sudo do. So taking them to the world championship is like the biggest dream you can achieve in this.
That's awesome. So you talked earlier about starting under Seychelles Tongue Sudo, and then now your Northern Tongue Sudo. When did that when did that switch happen?
Okay. In 2009, when we had the last Region 14 championship in Seychelles, it was the year that the World Tong Sudo Association decided to remove the third form sword and put the second one for the third dan.
Right.
So it was back then that we start having some difficulties, and since then things didn't go out proper, we didn't go correctly. It didn't work out with the master before me, so we started having a lot of differences, and that was then when we started getting this. But during the time, I think it was in 2010, he expelled me from the World Tong Sudo Association, and I write to Grandmaster Shin, and Grandmaster Shin um, tell us that we need to do like a report and send it to him, and then he will look into it and see what he can do. But at the same time, the master didn't have the right to expel me from the association. He can expel me from his club, but not from the association. The association, only him can do this. So I had some hope there. So we keep on doing what we had to do and give it to Grandmaster Shin. And then in 2011, he told us that he will meet with us in South Africa, in Mozambique, and then he started getting, he was getting a little bit sick, and he couldn't make it. He sent Master Vaughn. So we met with Master Vaughn in Mozambique in 2011. And back then when we had the meeting and everything, we get the license to open under the Northern Tongue Sudo. So we started in 2011.
That's great. It sounds like you use that indomitable spirit and the perseverance through that. I can't imagine how tough those times were.
Yes, because after you grow up in the club, it looks like it's a second home to me. So
Right.
I keep on fighting to go back in this home.
Well, now you've created your own home.
Yes, sir. Now it's better.
Yeah, I love that. Yes. Well, I'm sure it also feels different because you're blessed, as I am, to have your family train with you as well, correct?
Yes, sir. Actually, she joined in 2009.
Okay.
After her birthday, in 2008 and 2009, I gave her her first dobok for her birthday. And I told her, now you can come, no excuse. Because before she always have something to say. So when I give her the dobok, I said, now you got no excuse, you have to come.
That's great. I love that. Yeah, I actually met my wife through martial arts. We trained at the same
Okay.
dojang, and then yeah, we're both masters at this point. I think I saw your wife just recently tested for her third degree.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Congratulations to her.
Thank you, sir.
Master Valentin says Tong Su from Connecticut.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Uh, again, I'm Egelle, Egel says, proud of you, Master Faure.
Thank you,
Uh,
sir.
so you got some people watching. No pressure, right?
Getting there, sir.
Oh, you're good. Um, you're welcome, ma'am. So we've talked a little bit about Grandmaster Shin. Can you tell me about that first time you had the opportunity to meet Grandmaster Shin when he came to visit your?
Yes, sir. I met Grandmaster Sim for the first time. I think it's either 1995 or 1997 in South Africa. I met him with Master Goodwin. He was a black belt back then. I met meet them at the same time. And meeting Grandmaster Shin was like, you don't know what to do. You don't know if you will get a chance to talk to him. And then when you started talking to him, you see how humble he is, make us feel like he knows us way before we even start talking to him. That was an amazing feeling.
Did you have the opportunity? Uh, what did Grandmaster Shin come over for training, or did he come over for a tournament? Or
Yes, sir. He came a few times also in Seychelles for not for tournament, but most of the time for training, because we didn't have enough students to do like a competition back then. So, but most of the time when he came, it was only for training.
that's great. So you had the opportunity to take class with him.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Do you remember any of the memory? The did you get any lessons or things that you take along with you as far as those early?
Yes, talking to Grandmaster Shin, he will always email us, or we will always talking to him, and he kind of always giving you the good advice. Like in 2009 when we started getting all these differences, and he called me and said, uh, he never get my name right. He called me Jim, so he said, Jim, I want to talk to you. So I said, okay, we'll go, we'll talk. And while talking to him, he said, why are you so upset? I said, because I've been training for 3 years for the TED sword form. And I know if I had gone on the floor, I would get a medal. I said, why are you fighting for a piece of metal? So since then, I always tell the kids this story so they know when they are competing. So it's not the objective of winning a medal. It's you competing and see if the technique that you learn, is it a good one? Are you comfortable with it? Did you grow from the last competition to this one? So I always kind of telling them this now instead of, yeah, you have to win a medal, because Grandmaster Shin told us, if you put your mind into the medal, you don't get the medal, you're going to quit. So it has to be something else. So what we do, we just tell them to go have fun and enjoy the competition.
That's a great lesson, and yeah, obviously one that we try to as instructors get
Yes,
to
sir.
everyone, where it's you get ready for the tournament, but it's really the preparation. That's
Exactly,
the thing.
exactly.
So that's wise words from Grandmaster Shan. I like that. We sometimes we get in our own way, and it takes someone looking from the outside to just be like, hey, this is that's certainly one way
Yes,
to
it's
look
true.
at it.
Yes, and also like taking the classes. I started teaching when I was a green belt. Um, uh, and along the way, Grandmaster Shin told me something. I think it was one of the visits that he was on the island. I was taking a class, and he said, Jim, when you take the class, it's not you. You are teaching them, not teaching yourself. So you have to look at them and see how they are grasping the technique, and then you keep on building upon it. Because if you're doing all those technique and they cannot, they will lose interest and they will leave. So you will have to pay attention to what you are giving them and see how they are taking it. So
That's great, and you're very fortunate to have that one-on-one kind of learning from him. I
Yes,
also
sir.
love that. So I did an interview with one of my instructors. His name is Robert Kloss, and he always called Master Grandmaster Shin always called him Bob. So you're not you're not alone in that. Because he goes by Rob, and he always called him Bob.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay.
That's right. Grandmaster Shin can call you whatever he wants.
Exactly, sir.
So as you go up through the ranks, when did you get the opportunity or to actually go to Master's Clinic? And when
Master's Clinic, sir.
what's that?
You said Master Clinic.
Master's Clinic. Yeah. Where did you get it? When did you get the chance to go, and which one did you go to?
I went to the European Masters Clinic in 2015,
Okay.
the first one. Yes, sir.
Okay. So that was the same year I got the chance to go. Was that the first time? When did you first get to meet Master Khan?
I met Master Khan in Seychelles while we were still Seychelles Tang Sudo, and I think he came twice. One time, one time he came with Master Norin and Master Don, and I remember that Master Khan had to go for a meeting with the groups of all the karate style in Seychelles, the Seychelles Karate Federation. He had a meeting with them, so Master Don and Master Norin was supposed to take the class. And back then in Seychelles, we never had a class with the ladies before. So, as gentlemen and the ladies going to teach us Tang Sudo, we kind of underestimating them. So, um, uh, I think we were doing floor drills, doing some side kick. And then Master Norin did a side kick. And everybody on the floor just dropped mouth open.
Because it's like way up here.
Yes, the kick goes straight up. It was not only like accurate, but the sound that goes with the kick and everything else. So we had to show her respect since they respect the ladies.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've seen that kick at World Championships.
It's an awesome kick, right, sir?
Yeah, it's awesome. So that's great. It's that the actions speak louder than words.
Yes.
So at that moment you're like, okay, it's the real deal.
Yes.
Real quick, got some more people saying hi. Master Marco from Sweden says hello.
Hello, sir.
So Master Godwin says Tong Su from Delaware.
Thanks, Master Gori.
I'll have to ask him about those trips to South Africa.
In South Africa, yes, sir.
Mr. Rodney Ralph says hello from Region 9. So
hello, sir.
Yeah. So was that the first time when you went to the European Masters Clinic? Was that the first time you got to experience the cold of Europe?
Yes, sir. It was the first time. It was really cool for me.
Did you actually have like layer? You have to layer up and.
Oh yes, we had a big jacket and it was not enough. I had to borrow some from the student there.
My wife always gives me a hard time because I still wear shorts in the cold weather. As long as I have a jacket on, I'm good, but the legs are fine.
Yeah, but if I was staying there, I would get there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because when I go to Europe, they are always teasing me. I'm the only one wearing all those big clothes.
So as far as for me, when I think of Masters Clinic, I think of the camaraderie I got to share with the people that I spent time with. Was that the same experience for you? Like just kind of training and sweating with everyone else on the floor?
Actually, it was more like a learning process to me because in Seychelles it's a bit difficult for us to meet every now and then. So once you get the chance to meet other masters, they got lots of ideas how to do things, how to get to the same point where you want to go, but in a different way. So it's like you want to grab everything that you can and then come back, start training them so you don't forget them. It's like really a nice thing to do. And I really enjoy going to Europe because now I made a lot of friends with the masters there. So I enjoyed it.
You mentioned that time where Master Don and Master Irene taught. Was have they come back since then, or was that the one time they got the chance to come over?
Yes, sir. They come back for the training camp. We started doing training camp in 2014. We did it locally, and then 2015 we invite one of the instructor from Shotokan, and we did some first aid. All the kids get certificated for the first aid, and then in 2016, Master Amorim was invited, and we wanted to invite Master Amorim in the region. We wanted a woman because we had a very few women practicing Tang Soo Do back then. So we wanted somebody to inspire them, and Master Amorim was the best candidate for this one. And then in 2017, we invited Master Khan, but the planning started in 2016 after the one that we did with Master Amorim. And Master Dawn and my wife, they were the one organizing everything for the training camp.
Gotcha. Have you done any since then? So like the 2018?
No, sir. The last one we did was the one with Master Khan, and then we hadn't have the opportunity to do anymore. Yes, because we went to Europe for the European Championship, and then the year after we wanted to go for the World, and then this year we said we might do it again, but we don't know if we'll be able to do it.
Well, if anyone's watching and wants to help Master Faure with training clinics, please reach out. And it sounds like the accommodations won't be so bad if you do go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will meet them halfway.
That's right. When you talk about being an instructor, you're an instructor for someone else, and then you finally have the opportunity to have your own dojang. Do you notice any differences as far as like your mindset? I guess obviously there's a lot more work behind the scenes.
Yes,
but it sounds like
like when we were in Seychelles Tang Soo Do, we used to do things a certain way, like most of the time, like telling people what to do, and then when we go into back to the book, they always say that let's do this together. So we kind of changing those bad habits into the one of the World Tang Soo Do Association, which Grandmaster Singh always talking about being a leader. You lead, you don't boss people around. So we start then changing all those little things, and respect the rules and regulation. When the protocol you respect, and we started learning the form the proper way, because back then, when you don't get a move, you kind of lost. But now with all the communication with the masters, the books, so that we have all the books, so we got everything. We got a lot of help with Master Khan. He's like a father to me. And anytime I got a problem, it doesn't matter if it's Tang Soo Do or personal, I ask him if I can talk to him, and he's always there for me. So
that's great to hear. As far as running a dojang, is it a family affair? I know your wife helps out a lot as well. You do the teaching most of the time, and she does the talking, you said.
Yes. Yeah, running the school with her, it's different, because sometimes when I'm doing something, she can always point it out, and always giving me the good advice, and she always has my back. We kind of a good team. We complement each other.
That's great. And then you have two sons as well?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they also doing Tang Soo Do. The big one is a green belt stripe, The small one now is going to be going in the group of the tiny tigers. Yeah.
That's awesome. We got some of the some Great Britain friends saying hello. Nigel Crockett says hello, and
Hello, sir.
Shazan says Tong Su from GB. So
Thanks, sir.
that's awesome. Yeah, I love. It's been a little tougher now with everything going on with COVID-19. Getting the kids into class, because before, they could come in with me. Uh, they could come in and help out and teach, or sit in the lobby and hang out with their friends. And right now that's not something that we can do. So if they do have to come, my kids will take class and then basically hang out in the storage room to, to try to, we have to keep the numbers down. You can only have a certain amount of people in the dojang right now.
Yes.
So it's tough. Where as far as your dojang goes, do you have like your own location, or are you inside of a gym, or?
No, sir. We got those facilities, the community centers that are made for those kind of purpose. So we just use them on different days, different district.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's nice to have that, to be flexible.
Yes.
So how many days a week do you typically teach?
Well, before the corona, we used to train 6 times a week, and
Oh,
with the corona now, we kind of cutting down. But before, like we got four school on the island, and we split training because we got two classes on the same day, and we just send an instructor in one, and I take one. We alternate all the time.
gotcha. Um, how are things on the island as far as like the COVID-19? Is everything okay? You guys? Uh,
Now things are a bit not so good, but hopefully with the vaccination, things will get back soon if the vaccine works. So fingers crossed.
Gotcha. I just want to, if anyone has anything that they would like, a question from SFR, please feel free to share. Um, we talked about sparring. Do you have any things that you prefer to teach? Like obviously you said we're as Tong Sudo, we're very well rounded. And I remember Master Khan sharing, back in the day, he really focused on sparring, but then he had a conversation with Grandmaster Shin, and Grandmaster Shin basically told him that they were very good at sparring and kicking, but they needed to get better at forms, and so he really focused on that part, and now he's an encyclopedia of the knowledge when it comes to forms. Uh, do you have any specialties or things that you like to teach when it comes to Tong Sudo?
I try to balance everything out, because like I said, we we kind of alone on an island. I've got myself and the other instructors where we kind of work together. Every now and then we join, we do black belt classes, and we kind of go into detail about techniques, where we work on weapon, the grabbing, the break down the roles. We kind of trying to balance everything out. Before before when Mastura was not there, we used to do most of the time fighting. Most of the time, like every classes we fighting. And then when she come along, she said, "There's other things that you need to do. Otherwise, when your kids will be grading, they will be lacking on this one and this one." So since then we balance things out, and we've been working on all of them.
Yeah, it like you said, balance is important as far as those things go. Um, how about weapons? So you talked about doing the sword form years ago. Do you like the staff over the sword, or?
Yes, sir. I love the sword form. I love to work with it. I enjoyed it. It's my best weapon.
Yeah. Do you ever get that? Did you ever do anything like sword cutting with the bamboo or anything like that?
No, no, sir. But I did a lot of demonstration for different events with the sword.
Gotcha. Um, yeah, as far as working with the guys in your region, you mentioned Master Ghoul, and now I believe Master Schwalbach is the regional director.
Yes, sir.
How do you get the opportunity to communicate with them much? I know it's like you said, it's tough. Since you're so far away. You,
Yes, sir. Master Goal, he's also one of the person that I respect a lot because he's been helping me out since we started, and way before I had my own school, where he helped us a lot. So, but with Master Shrabak, things were a little bit different because we had this Zoom. So now we don't have to wait for the Region 14 for us to meet. Every now and then, like we meet once a month. For last year, we meet once a month on Zoom. So that's another good opportunity. And it's something different, but it keeping us more close.
yeah. Yeah, I've had the chance to meet some of the Mozambique guys, and Claudio is one of my. We got to train together. Claudio Temporario. We got to train together at Masters Clinic. He's a good dude. He's a good guy.
Yes, sir.
I was thinking as you were talking, we did. I don't know if you were on the Masters training with Grandmaster Strong last month. I know it's probably tough because like it's 9 o'clock here and it's evening already for you there. So I'm sure trying to get together and coordinate those Zoom trainings is tough with the time difference.
Yes, I did the class. It was at 11 p.m. and it finished like 1 in the morning. So but it was an amazing class. I really enjoyed it. Love it.
Yeah, that's got to be tough to do because then you got to figure out how to wind down and go to sleep at that point.
Exactly.
Have you had the opportunity to have much interaction with Grandmaster Strong and Grandmaster Bodwin? Have either of them? Did they ever get the chance to come over to visit?
Not yet. But Grandmaster Bodwin came on the island when we still under the umbrella of Seychelles Sudo. But he wasn't Grandmaster back then. And Master Vaughn also came one time.
Yeah, Master Vaughn's a great guy.
Yes, sir.
He's here in Region 8 with us. Outside of the World Championships and going to Europe for the Masters Clinic, have you had any opportunities to train or go and travel and train throughout the world? Obviously, it seems like just going to your region is kind of a.
Yes, most of the time we just go to the region, but going to the Master Clinic in 2015 kind of opened a new door, and I got the chance to do a little class in Holland in 2019. Yes, in 2019, Master Heskes asked me if I would like to take a class for 30 minutes, but it has to go for four groups. I said yes, I want to give it a try, and I did a little class. It was really fun.
That's great. So you haven't had the opportunity to come to the United States Masters Clinic yet?
Not yet, sir. Planning to.
Yes, sir. Well, if you come, you're more than welcome to come visit Region 8 as well.
Thank you, sir.
Not exactly close, but when in the States, you can take advantage of.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The names are challenging my pronunciation. Maybe you can help me. Boubally. Is that Boubally? Someone's saying tungsten. Boubally is the name. Boubally Czech says Tongsu.
Boubali?
Boubali, yeah.
Yeah.
They say Tongsu.
Tangsu, sir.
It's just checking to see who's watching. Um, is there anything as far as training or things that you want to share that we haven't talked about yet?
Well, yes, when I met Master Vaughn, and he was one of the person that we spoke before we opening the opening of the Northern Tongue Sudo, and he gave us a lot of ideas how to run the school, a lot of advice. Like one that we remember quite well because we went in through it and then we think, oh, Master Vaughn knows what he was talking about. It was like he said, when you're teaching, there will be those one that will make you proud, and there will be those one that will stab you in the back. But you have to stand up, dust up your clothes, and keep on walking. And sadly, in 2012, we got one of the group of people who really stab us in the back. They sue us for almost 500,000, and we had to go into a lot of difficulties. But after that, we keep on going, and this is why nowadays we go by the book. If you're doing something wrong, we don't go and trying to explain to you. We just come and straightforward and tell you this is wrong. This is against the rule of the regulation. Because when we started to explain everything, then it goes out of hand, and you'll find yourself in big trouble later on. So
Gotcha. Yeah, Master Vaughn is one of those guys. If he's been through everything. When you consider he started in the 1970s, and even before the association started. So that, like you said, if Master Vaughn tells you some advice, it's a pretty good source to rely on.
yes, and Master Khan also he's the same. He always telling you like stories, and then you kind of decide how you're going to go about it. He kind of always talking to you, but don't tell you what to do. But by talking to him, you'll make a good decision later on.
Yeah, well, I know with Master Khan, he had those situations where he had to go through adversity as well, as far as his original instructor and things like that. So, um, it's definitely a good source of knowledge and advice.
Yes, we're blessed to know him, and to be able to help us is really a great help to us.
Did you said you were a sword guy? Did you ever have the opportunity to train with Master Vaughn at all?
Uh, yes, I get the chance. I get the chance to train with him in Seychelles back then when he was Seychelles Tang Sudo. I remember one time I was looking at the back, and when I turned forward, he said, "Why are you laughing?" I couldn't say anything, and then he said, "Come forward." He made me lie down and then do the cockroach. And then I managed to train with him again in South Africa, in Mozambique. He was teaching about the sword. Really amazing lesson, and we managed to get a lot out of these classes also.
That's great. I remember there was a time at Master's Clinic where he was doing one steps, and he tends to be very quiet, but and doesn't he waits for the right time to do stuff. And we were doing one steps, and someone punched at him, and he just jumped and like completely surprised the guys at how fast he was. Um, the guy wasn't ready for him because he's kind of quiet and unassuming, but he just kind of quickly attacked the guy who was, I think, like twice the size of him. So he's
Yes, he did something similar like this in South Africa also, and he was doing some ketting with the sword. The way you put your the hips and the swing together, it was really amazing.
awesome. We're starting to wrap up. Believe it or not, we're getting close to that hour mark. Um, any advice you can give to the people that are watching as far as having longevity? So like you said, you started in 1993. You're getting, I don't want to call you old, but you're getting closer to 30 years of martial arts training. What do you attribute to that, the longevity in martial arts? And do you have any advice for someone to continue to stay motivated?
Yes, yeah, when I started, thing was not easy, but I knew back then that this is doing something good for me. So if something is doing good for you, you have to keep on going no matter what. There's nothing that's worthy that you'll be doing that there will be no difficulties in it. If everything comes easy, then it's not worthy. So if you have to work hard for you to get to where you want to go, then it's going to be worthy. So as long as you keep yourself positive, you have to learn to take what's positive in something instead of the negative. Then you'll keep on going. If you're always thinking about the negative, then you will go nowhere.
That's great. Did you ever think back then that you would ever get to the point of being a master instructor?
No, sir. But I remember Grandmaster Shin when we did our black belt in 2003, I think, and there was like 15 of us, and he said that only 2 or 3 of you will reach second dan. And everybody looks around and say, I work hard all this time, and now I'm not going back. But truly said, when we were grading for second dan, there was 3 of us. And then when I went for my third dan in 2007, there was only me grading for the third dan. So
Yeah, it was the same way for me. You know, as an instructor, and obviously he's seen it over and over again for many years. It's tough, like you said. It's not easy to continue to train.
exactly.
It's interesting where, I talk to students. We learn so much up to black belt, and then they they're unsure. Is like, why I only have two forms to learn now, and they don't understand that now is the time to really focus on those lower forms and polish them and make them better. It's about mastery now, not about just when can I learn the next thing.
Exactly.
That's the hard part of being a black belt, first, second, third degree is patience.
Yes. And when I did my third dan, it was in 2007, and I got called for my master's to go for the master's clinic in 2015. That's a lot of waiting.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I keep on training, I keep on going because it was something that I love.
Yeah, I think that's important. And you said the same thing about the tournament, and getting ready for the medal, where if that's all you're training for, you're going to lose interest quick. So
Exactly.
you have to have that love of the martial arts. Master Valentin says, keep up the good work, Jim.
Thank you, sir.
Now
Jim is back.
You've had it now. Master Valentin is gonna, whenever he sees you now, you are now Jim. Yeah. Apparently he's the name guy. If he calls you by a certain name, that's your name now.
It's going to stay.
Well, sir, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I really enjoyed getting the chance to talk to you and learn your history. And I appreciate the fact that you've went through a lot of issues and you're still here. So that says a lot about your character and pushing through, and like you said, your love of Tong Soo Do.
Yes, sir.
Because normal people, we're a different breed. I think
Exactly.
normal people would just
You have to have something to hold on.
that's right. Some people would be like, this is not worth the headache, and just move on. But like you said, when you love something, you stick with it, and you
Yeah,
I
you
can,
have to appreciate the difference that he made into your life, and always being humble, always be there to try and explain, because sometimes it's difficult for someone to just think or simmer what you're saying or what you're doing. So you have to have the patience to go back and why we doing this. This is for this. Like when we're teaching the techniques, we told them the hand technique, the kick technique, the grabbing is not just finish. This is how you do it, and this is how it's going to be. We told them like it's like A, B, C, D. You're learning them, and then tomorrow you can put them together and make words with it, and then later on you can make a sentence, and then you keep on going. So it's something that you always can change, but this is the basic that we are teaching you to get the feel of the technique.
awesome. Well, thank you, sir. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching along. If you have any questions past this, feel free to share or say hello on the comments, and I'm sure Master Faure will get a chance to check them out later. So, sir, thank you, and hopefully one day we'll get a chance to get together and train. But
Yes, sir.
until that, take care and Tong Su.
You also, sir. Thanks, you.
All right.